Well, good morning. We're out this morning to complete a segment of the Ozark Keystone Trail that has just been completed. And we're going to use a new trailhead, if you will. They have moved Niles Landing trailhead to up here, right off the lake here where these docks are. And they've cut a spur trail up to where they've put the trail through. So Niles Landing trailhead, as I understand it, is now going to be located here. And what used to be Niles Landing may end up being Barren Creek trailhead. I don't know if they'll keep that in service or not. We'll just have to see. But anyhow, this is where we're going to be today. And they have completed the trail, or most of it anyhow, from the top of Bluff down all the way to over into part of the trail from what used to be Niles Landing, the original one, up to the state line. They've put a new trail through there, so there's going to be an update on that section of the trail. But anyhow, this is where we're going to be this morning, and I'm going to hike up to the top of Bluff and then film coming back down, so it will be northbound. The film will be like everything else I filmed coming from Bidwell Point on up. So anyhow, this is just to introduce you to this trailhead, and we're going to walk up here and catch the spur trail up to the new trail they've cut through. Which is right here. And then when we get up to the new trail, I'll stop filming until I get up to the top of Bluff and hook into where I ended the section I have videoed from Red Bank up to Bluff. And then I'll turn around and film coming back down heading north. So this trail's just been completed the last couple months. And in fact, as of a week or so ago, there was still a half mile or so of it that was under construction, where they were having to do some manual work. So we'll see how much they've got done. Okay, there we go. This is the main trail they've put in. And for this morning, I'm going to go to the right, go back north to the top of Bluff, and then film coming back the other way. So anyhow, I will head this way and see you in a little bit. Something I wanted to add in before I get too far along the trail here. Today is September 10th of 2024, and I started about 7:15 in the morning. So we'll see how this goes today. I want to get from Bluff back to Niles Landing trailhead there, and then I'd like to do the next segment, which is an updated section for the section from Niles Landing trailhead up to the state line. At least get that much of it filmed so we got it all current. Anyhow, I'll go and shut down from now and catch you in a few. All right, well, I'm back at the top of Bluff. This is where I stopped on the video coming over from Red Bank. And all this that you see in front of you here was nothing but weeds and stuff at the time. So I'm going to pick up here and film some on the way going back. And 1.2 miles up to here, I'll have to get the elevation change when I get back to the house. Took me right at an hour now. There's about a quarter of a mile of bushwhacking still in there. Maybe. They're putting in the trail by hand down there because of the steepness of the bluff and everything. So they've got, I'm guessing, around a quarter of a mile to go. They're working on it. But anyhow, so let's start out from here, and we'll film the first part of this going underneath Bluff. the folks living up on top of this bluff really have a beautiful view out across here. Okay, this is probably of the section that's made trail yet, this is probably the trickiest section. Most of the rest of it's in pretty good shape. Of course, it's brand new, so just be careful and watch your footing. And I may cheat, get up here just to make sure I don't do any backward somersaults. Let's see, make sure I got a good, there we go. Yeah, there. All right. So, there we made it across the first part, right below Beans Bluff. Now we'll take off down the trail. I'll film a little bit of this, and then I'll pick out some interesting spots along the way. I probably won't film much of the bushwhack section because that won't look the same by the time you get out here when they finish the trail along there. There are some interesting bits of history along this section of the trail. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, of course, zinc mining was a big thing in northern Arkansas. If you've been down to Rush Mountain, you've seen the big zinc mines down there. Well, I didn't know till I got ready to hike this that we actually had a little zinc mining up here along the North Fork River. Up here on the bluff, they found some veins of zinc, and I think there were 4 shafts, if I remember right, put horizontally into the bluff face. And it was a producing mine for a while. I've seen varying estimates of how much ore they took out. Looking at the size and depth of the drifts they made, I kind of would tend toward the low end, I think. But anyhow, an interesting bit of history that a lot of folks don't know or aren't aware of, that there was some zinc mining up here in the bluff. You can see here on this slab of stone now, I don't think there's any mining here. This is all natural, I do believe. I think that's just another type of rock breaking away on the bottom. They could have done some blasting and knocked some of this loose to see what was behind it. Really hard to say. You'd have to get a better geologist than I am to tell you that. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off for just a minute here, and I'll catch you in a few. Okay, I thought I'd turn it back on and again show you along the bluff line here, either a lot of natural breaking away or possibly the miners we're looking to see if there were any veins back in there. You can see a few survey markers still here. When they get all done with that, they'll pull them out. Anyhow, well, you can see we're going to go downhill for a while. I'm going to turn the camera off and catch you in a few. Just thought I would catch a bit of this. This is actually not a lot of big ravines that come down through here, but this is one good-sized one. There we go. Where you get some fairly rapid elevation loss here. Got a good tree there for a handhold to keep you from going straight on off. And here's our other big gully coming up here. There. There we go. Turn it off for just a minute here. Well, here is the first of the mine shafts that I mentioned to you were down in here. Where they mine zinc ore. Most of these are not very deep. I think the longest one I thought I measured was about 35. Most of these are about 25 feet is all the further back they go. But anyhow, there's the first one. It's along the trail here. You can look up the history of zinc mining in Baxter County, Arkansas. There we go. And here's the next one, right around the corner here. And again, not very deep. GoPro doesn't do well in the dark, so I won't go on in anything, but it just ends right around the corner there. Again, about 25 feet maybe or so. So they did move some rock out of here. And this here was another shaft, but it looks like it's caved in and filled in over the years. And they had another shaft in there, may have been another one back behind it or something, but another mine they had. So they were busy along and through here. Okay, we're getting down on the section of the trail that's handmade. Not made by the machine, and it's this is pretty new here. We're not far from where they quit so far, and we'll have to go back to bushwhacking. Which is a little more time consuming. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off here for a minute, see you in a few. Here's the fourth mine shaft, I believe. This one, they measured it out, the longest one, I believe it's about 35 feet back in there. So this is probably the longest drift that they drove in the side of the bluff. But anyhow, there's the, as far as I know, the end of the mining shafts. I don't think there's any further down the mountain. But anyhow, quite a time back here in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Very good. Well, like I said, here's what we'll be bushwhacking through. So I'm going to turn the camera off so I can watch my footing. See you in a few. Turn it on just for a minute. Let you see some of the bushwhacking right now. When the trail is done, when they get done building this section, well, where the flags are and stuff here, the trail will run right along here, but they'll have it all cleared out. So anyhow, we're working our way back. See you in a few. Well, we're finishing up the bushwhacking. Here we go. We hit the other end of the trail now, where they've got it completed coming up. So that's the hard part. Oh yeah. Well, you can see the trail ahead here. We got a little zigzag coming up. We're back down close to level, I think. Anyhow, I'll turn it off for a while. Catch you in a few. Okay, we're just about back to Niles Landing. And I wanted to throw in a bit of trivia about Niles Landing. The best I can tell, I don't know where the name Niles came from. It could have been from another early settler, or it could have been one of the locals who named it for a place back where they came from. Landing indicated to me a ferry boat landing, but having checked with the Historical Society here in Baxter County, there never was a ferry boat here that crossed the North Fork River. This was actually a ford. There's a county road comes down the other side of the lake, and there was a ford across here to what is now County Road 44. So, and it did come across right about where we parked this morning. It's about where it came across at. So, that's a little bit of trivia about Niles Landing. It actually was a ford across the river. And of course, once the lake was created, well, the fording stopped probably. Anyhow, I'll turn it off for just a minute, see you in a few. Well, we've made it. Here's the spur trail back to Niles Landing. So, this will wrap up the first segment of my video for today. I've already got out there on YouTube, I've got a video from Red Bank to Beans Bluff. This will be the next segment that I'll put out there. This will be Bean Bluff to Niles Landing. Okay? And then what I'm going to do next is I do have a video out there for the old Niles Landing to the Missouri state line, but they have updated the trail here. They've made some new trail and cut across a couple different areas. So I'm going to stop my Beans Bluff video here and turn around and start one to try and catch the new part of Niles Landing up that will run all the way up to Missouri state line eventually. What I'll probably do is just shoot part of this, the new part of the trail, and then go edit the video and attach it to the front end of it. Anyhow, so this is it for Beans Bluff. See you in a few.